Everyone, Religious Fanboy here again, and today we are going to be reading and discussing Ecclesiastes chapter 9, chapter 7, and we'll be reading the first verse of 8 also. So we'll be reading from the start of chapter 7 until chapter 8 verse 2. So feel free to pause the video, and I will to grab your Bible, and so you can read along. And with that being said, I'm gonna start reading and have fun. A good name is better than a precious ornament, and the day of death is better, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For what is the end? For that is the end of all men, and the living will take it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by a sad countenance the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of the morning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than a man to hear the song of fools. For like crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Like talking about how, like, the temporary joy stuff and happy stuff is not as important as the stuff that is difficult right now that we will face, because the difficult things will help us grow in our faith and as people and in our relationship with God. I'm gonna go back to reading. We're on verse 7 of chapter 7 now. Surely oppression destroys a wise man's reason, and a bribe debases the heart. The end of a timing is better than its beginning. Oh, the end of a thing is better than its beginning. The patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Do not hasten in your spirit to be angry, for anger resists the bosom of fools. Do not say, why were the former days better than these? Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and profitable to those who see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, as money is a defense. But excellence of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those who have it. I'm just talking about how, like, kind of like wisdom and spiritual growth are more important than like worldly desires, stuff like that. Yeah. And we are now on verse 13. Consider the work of God, for who can make straight what he has made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider surely God has appointed the one as well as the other, so that man can find out nothing that will come after him. I have seen everything in my days of vanity. There is there is a just man who perishes in his righteous, and there is a wicked man who prolongs life in his wickedness. Do not be overly righteous, nor be overly wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Do not be overly wicked, do not be foolish. Why should you die before your time? It is a good time. It is good that you grasp this, and also not remove your hand from the other. For he who fears God will escape them all. Wisdom strengthens the wise more than 10 rulers of the city. Like this talks about how, kind of talks about the importance of moderation. Like it says, don't be overly wise or overly righteous, but it also reminds us not to be foolish or wicked. Which kind of parallel to this could be how I get kind of going back to Revelation chapter 2 when we talked about the loveless church, how the people had done all these great works and everything, but the one thing God held against them was that, like, sure, they followed the law to the best of their ability, but they did not have a relationship with him because they had gotten distracted and so caught up in their good works that they forgot to focus, to pay attention to their relationship with God as well as doing good works. And like, even though our good works will be a sign of the strength of a sign contributing to the strength of our faith, our works are, and like our ability to follow God's law and the commandments are not the things that save us from condemnation. It's through our relationship and belief in God. But that doesn't mean that, like, we can be Christians and strong in our faith without producing good work and good fruit. And now we are on verse 20. For there is not a just man on the earth who does good and does not sin. Also, do not take to heart everything people say, lest you hear your servant cursing you. For many times also your own heart has known that even you have cursed others. All this I have proved by wisdom. I said, I will be wise. but it was far from me. As for that which is far off and exceedingly deep, who can find it out? I employed my heart to know, to search and seek out wisdom and the reasoning of things, to know the wickedness of folly and the foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart snares and nets, whose hands are fetters. He who pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be trapped by her. Here is what I have found, says the preacher, adding one thing to the other to find out the reason, which my soul still seeks, but I cannot find. One man among 1,000 I have found, but a woman among all these I have not found. Truly this only I have found, that God made man upright, but they have sought out so many schemes. Who is like a wise man, and who knows the interpretation of a thing? Man's wisdom makes his face shine, and sternness of his face is changed. Like that talks about kind of like the wisdom to avoid temptation, and like talking about the female, like another time where they talk about like a deceptive female causing destruction of non-believers is in Revelations, talking about the woman robed in scarlet, and feel free to ask questions in the comments, or if you're on my Discord or want to email me or message me on Google Plus, feel free. And with that being said, may God be with you, and see you next time. Bye.